Alright, we're back from break. Going to see if I can fix this bad boy. Alright. So first, I think the problem here is that the S is unresolved. So if I'm not actually using that trait bound, I need to nuke it. 147. Yes. Alright, that's the problem. I'll start it there. Alright, ref or ref mute. Some boost. 77. Ref. Cannot move out of bar content. Yeah, fair enough. It's a tiny primitive value. I can just clone it. Oh, for the love of it. Why is the clone moving it out? What the fuck? Remove ref. Nope. The trait is implemented for type boost. Yep. Okay. So I'm guessing I need to derive clone. Ref. Was that it? Seriously? Alright. Got it. You there, Alexi?
Nice.
Yeah, so lesson learned. Unused trait bounds aren't as benign as unused type class constraints are in Haskell, so gotta be really careful. Alright, well, let's reattempt our generic lift error thing. Lift error. We're gonna just leave that commented out. We're gonna do that. Cannot resolve. Yeah, so we're back in that hell again. So what I need to do to make that work, would I need to do the interstitial value thing? Let's try that again. Num result value s error equals yeah, no, I just can't get it to work that way. And I think the problem, well, there's multiple problems, but one of them is that this, I just can't seem to get a function that uses this trait to link up with this one, and I don't know why. It's really weird. It's just an associated type, too. Huh. I don't know what trait constraints I would add. I mean, so I'm saying that the type of num is S error. That should be, I mean, it's possible it's not, but that should be the same S, because I think Rust has something kind of like scope type variables by default. So that should be the same S here, right? So then that should resolve, and then that means it should know that the S here is the same as the S for lift error, because this is the return type of that, and then lift error is result v S error. So those trait bounds should unify. See, the thing is I realize I can just go back to the previous implementation where I map the error right then and there in the impl. And that's okay, but the reason I'm trying to figure this out is that if I can't get this to work, then I'm not actually certain how to get any reusable functions written with the trait. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really get the benefit of traits if I can't figure out how to write a function like that. Oh, Dustin said, Dustin asked if the chat was working and said it sounded like people are asking questions, but I wasn't seeing anything here. So to explain, I answer questions in the Twitch chat, but I usually, not always, but I usually have a friend of mine in Hangouts so that they can see what I'm doing instantaneously. Twitch has like a few seconds lag to it. And they ask me questions in there, and what I'll usually do is repeat the question that was asked of me on voice, because you can't hear what they're saying, and then I'll answer the question. Similarly, like I do with chat, I'll usually repeat what they said or asked, and then reply. Alright, anyway, so the point is that I can't really write any code that abstracts over a trait if I can't get this to work. Right? Which is like normal. That's just normal Haskell stuff that, as far as I know of traits, like, should work, you know? Okay. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and commit what I have so far. Term query. Serialize simple. Okay. Okay. Type annotations required cannot resolve. Trait. The type was supplied. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. You can fix this by changing cat to self. Every method of a trait has to contain self, self, self. Self error? Associated type error not found. I think self makes it term query, not the serializer. So that's not it. And I think, yeah, self is just impl context. That's what I'm calling an impl on cat, right? Cat as meow, yeah. Yeah, I think they're just talking about an impl for a trait. S as S sounds dumb, so that doesn't seem right. But I'm gonna try it. Not found in S. Yeah, okay. Oh, what the hell? So dumb. What if I do S as S in here? What then? Expected enum result found bool. What? Yeah. What about your S? Oh, nope. That makes me mad. How do I tell it to make this the same S? John Sconning says, I am just widely guessing here, but maybe you need trait object lifetimes. Maybe. It didn't seem like a lifetime error. It seemed like a type unification error. But let's find out. Well, I don't... Impl... Foo for bar A... Box new as box foo... There's no lifetime parameter here. It's all owned. Maybe that is what I want, but the problem is because this is about lifetimes, I'm not certain how to... It's as... Maybe we could do like that. The trait ops f and once is not implemented for s as serializer error. Huh. Because that's not error. That's a function that returns an error, so that's not going to work. So I'd have to say as I'd have to do it as the function type. Hey John, if I misunderstood but you're trying to point out trait object lifetimes, please speak up in chat and tell me what I'm missing. Huh. I don't think that really changes anything. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Same error. I'm just doing the type annotation to the right-hand side instead of the left, right? Yeah. Use cat as meow, self. These are all impl stuff. Can it resolve trait in function? Why are these functions in a trait? God only knows. Unclear errors with type annotations on functions instead of their traits. Struct y, impl y, new self. Into self u32. Some func u32 into times 512 u32. Just add type annotations to into. Huh. So you invoke the trait method directly from the type as a function instead of like a method call on the value that has the type. Why would that be necessary? String from, wow. As ref. Type parameter as ref. So the problem here is I don't have a concrete type. I have a polymorphic type that I need to link up. So I can't assert anything more specific than whatever the associated type of error is. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Generic self. Why are these functions in a trait? Inherent static methods on traits do not play well with associated types. So ser versus s doesn't seem to have really mattered. Cannot resolve trait bound. Work around the lack of associated method on parametric traits. Depend on bound. Let's have a look at the cargo log here. What version is SERD? 109. Does the serializer have a lifetime parameter? I don't think it's a lifetime thing, but I'll take a look. API docs. SERD. SER. Serialize. No, it doesn't. They added one to D, I think. Yeah, they did. But there's not one on serialize. Alright. Advanced traits. Associated types. Associated types versus generics. Generate objects with associated types. Forma suggested it could be related to this. Oh, it probably is. It's a different library, but it could be the same thing. You aren't using self or self anywhere. Why these functions in a trait? I found this earlier, but I don't know if it's the same kind of thing. So the suggestion there is that it doesn't need to be a trait. I'm not defining a trait, I'm defining a public function that uses a trait. I have to use the trait bound because I need to map the custom function from the error associated type from the trait bound S, which is serializer. So I needed to derive that implementation from this S, otherwise they're not the same type. So, Forma says Ria's answer, I don't need self due to it being a static method, but you're right about not being impl by something. Yeah, what I just said. I don't know how that maps onto what I'm doing. I have to use the trait bound from this in order to get a valid error, because I'm not allowed to know what error is, because that's decided by the serializer. Because error is a different type depending on whether or not I'm serializing to JSON versus Bing code versus whatever. So yeah, I did read the answer earlier too. I just don't know how to map it onto what I'm doing. All right. Let me see here. Fully qualified syntax for disambiguation. That seems promising. Implementing two traits that have the same method with the same... Ooh, no. My problem isn't overlapping trait methods. But I'll take a look anyway. B equals Baz. Baz as food. Okay, so you're doing concrete type as trait, and then invoking the trait method. Sure. Kind of a roundabout way of saying method of type class, but sure. Super traits, to use one trait's functionality within another trait. That's not my problem. My problem is unification. Advanced types. Type synonyms. Never type. What? Oh, that's like panic. Never mind. Dynamically sized types. Nope, it's not that. Could be closures related, but I kind of doubt it. I'm technically passing an F in once. Right there. But I'll take a quick look to see if anything lines up with what I'm seeing. Returning a closure. Yep. Trait object. No, I don't think that's it. Everything in here was associated types, which is my problem. I think this kind of maps onto my problem. So to catch up anybody who's joined, I made some progress. I got an implementation of this to work, but I had to move the map error custom functionality out and do it in here so that it knows exactly, so it knows that I'm trying to use the S of this trait impl. Now, the problem I have at the moment is that makes me a little bit concerned because writing this kind of library involves a lot of putzing around with JSON, and if I can't write a simple function like this that just makes a reference to a type argument from a trait bound, I don't really have the ability to write any functions that abstract over traits, which is bad. That's like most of the point of traits and type classes, in my opinion anyway. So the problem is that I can't get this S serializer to line up with the S serializer here. And it has to be polymorphic because the error type is an associated type on the type class. That type has a different representation depending on which serializer you're using. The serializer could be a JSON serializer, it could be a Bing code serializer, it could be anything, protobus, whatever. They're going to have different error representations, you know, because different protocols, formats, whatever, need to represent errors differently. They may want to include like some, you know, serialization specific data. The problem is I can't get this bastard to line up. I can't get it to see that this S is the same S as this one. It's really weird. I don't know why this makes a bool. I think it's reading as an expression. That was a type. Okay. Type indentations required cannot resolve. Trait bound. FN. Cannot resolve. Associate type. Type indentation required. Type is supplied. I already looked at that one, but I'll look again. Unable to infer type information. I don't think that's going to be related, but we'll try. Yeah. Feature type description. This is under an IPL. Self range. Dustin asks, does VS Code help with seeing definitions in Haskell or Rust? There's stuff you can use. It's generally you're calling. Generally, you're setting up some kind of extension. It's an additional thing. VS Code doesn't have support for either of them baked in. Form is asking, can you not call your error function with a type parameter to force pass in the type, like lift error : s boost? Yeah, let's try it. I think I tried this before and it didn't work. Expected enum, ser JSON value, found type parameter. Alright, let's try writing out the type value as error. I don't think this is right. Switch enum, search JSON value, found enum, standard error result. That's kind of weird. So value s. Why are there two type parameters? Oh, because it's v. Right. Hey, did that do it? Son of a bitch. There we go. Good call, Ecforma. They figured it out. Alright, so we have to just cherry pick the type application. Can I get rid of that? Yep, I can. Cool. Thank you. All right, making progress. So that might be a thing that comes up later whenever I'm writing a function that abstracts over some kind of trait. Then I may need to manually chain the type parameter around. I will keep that in mind. I strongly suspect if I keep going with this library, I'm gonna write a bunch of those things. That's gonna suck. All right. So I've got a serialize for term query now. so let's go back to my search test and let's see here. So we're going to search term query, and it's going to be some what? It's query, term query, and then term query is term field is, let's try username, let my app, no boost, yeah, that's on that. I don't think it's running the test, so try and make test debug. Nuts! What did I do wrong? Oh, whoops. The query term query num's just, it expects a term query. There we go. Because I had to separate out the type. Did you mean term fields? It wants me to, yeah. Wants me to do like this, I think. Is it term query term query boost, like that? Is that what it wants? Lordy here. All right. Boost 1.5. Oh. Wow. I don't want to force fields here. It wants me to make a constructor or something for that, I bet. Term field, term value, boost. Oh, there is no field on that. Why is it complaining then? Constructor is not visible here due to private field. Pub? Is that why? Seriously? I have to pub the argument? Okay. Function is never used. Search term query. Correct. Search term query. Run. Come on. No! What? What? Why? No! How can you do this to me? Ugh. Alright, I think I know what went wrong. Alright. Rust backtrace equals 1 for backtrace. Indeed. Yeah. Wow. Really digging in there. Map, allo commute, serialize for query, failed on the serializer? Something? Shared JSON, something in the maps maybe? Is it mad about the assignments here? Impl serialize forward query, new type variant, term query, index mute. Yeah, it's the index mutes under term query. So it's one of these guys. What? All right. Well, let's add some print lines here. Constructed maps, term map, term query boost, term field map, term query map, and that shouldn't change either. So let's try that. Yep. Let's see that standard out. We got as far as constructed maps, but term map. Okay, so I think the problem is that I'm indexing a key that doesn't exist, so that's not the right way to add data to the map. My bad. Shared map. Okay. So I'm supposed to use insert. Not that they. Okay. Insert value. Insert. 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 And I think that's everything. So let's run it again. To be honest, I would have thought they would have just gone to overloaded strings by now. I'm really surprised they've held the line on the literal two-string thing. You think somebody would get tired of it by now, you know? Wait, I'm two-stringing the wrong things anyway. It's supposed to be... Oh, and this one's actually wrong too. And I wouldn't have noticed because it's in a branch I'm not using right now. Man, that's bad. Term query map insert. Yeah, there we go. I'll just get rid of the front lines so there's less noise. That one's going to need a two-string as well. Okay. Where is it? There we go. Get rid of the reference. Try adding a semicolon. Fair enough. I think it's because insert returns the map. That is mutable, right? Yeah, mute self. Okay. Oh my god. Result unwrap called on error value. Missing field took. Yeah. So probably my JSON is wrong and Elasticsearch is sending me an error. So I need to stop unwrapping here. And start dumping here, print line. There. Let's see what these things look like. Restricted struct search. Oh my god. Result search response or error. I think. Not a type. Yeah, I gotta quit doing that. It's just string, right? Nope. It's wrong. Search JSON error. It's the associated type thing I was talking about before. Use of undeclared type or module. Okay. Use shared JSON. Extern create shared JSON. These debug builds seem like the missing field took. Right. Yes, okay. So the problem is I'm just getting the shared error, which isn't supremely helpful. Where's search? Yeah. That error isn't good enough. I need to make this start returning the response or something. Anyway, we're gonna print S now. See what it looks like. Dustin said, is Haskell more difficult than Rust, or does it have more features? I think Haskell's easier than Rust by quite a bit. It's maybe a little bit more alien looking at first, but it's way easier. Okay, term query does not support username. What in tarnation? Okay. Let's take a look at our JSON. Let's see what that looks like. Derived debug for T. Oh, yeah. JSON stir let JSON stir equals JSON stir. There we go. Yeah, I mean, Dustin, I think you haven't had a chance to see my Haskell streams, but if you watch the ones on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. It's a lot more productive there. Query term username. Wow. How did I double up on the terms? Wow, I fucked up. All right. I should probably check that this works. Is there a nicer way I can print this? Maybe like that. I want to copy and paste this into Cerebro. Oh, God. Fucking. Wow, are you serious? There. What? I need to reuse. Alright. Unwrap. Got moved by the unwrap, I think. Alright. Yeah, well, congratulate me on LorePub when it's selling stuff. But thank you. What did I do? Oh, F. Yeah, I just want a nicer format of this JSON string so I don't have to remove all the string character escapes. I'm hoping doing a direct print instead of a debug print will do that. And I was right. It did. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this in Cerebro and make certain I've got the right idea here. So if I post that, I'm going to get same error. Yep, that's good. So then if I go to term username, it works. Okay, so that is the fix. By the way, it's really important when you're writing Elasticsearch stuff, test that the thing you're headed towards actually works before you change all the code. Because if you don't, you will be very sad. Very, very sad. What did I just change? Yeah, just stay like that. Impl serialize for term create. Alright, term. I am guessing that the problem, yeah, yep, that's the problem. The shared rename is term. It's already doing that. So I have to lift everything up one level. Basically, term query is going to become a pass-through for the term and option boosts, and I'm just going to get rid of the term query map and change it to term field map, and we'll try it again. Dunzo. Worked fine. That was it. Just the bad nesting. Bad delegation in the JSON serialization. Okay. Oh, well, actually, no, I don't know that it's actually okay. But I think it is, because I printed an okay response with the data I expect. So, comment those out, go back to this one, rerun it, probably okay. Saba Kadar said, do you work for Face Punch? I don't know who that is. I don't know if you're asking me either. I assume you're asking me, but who's Face Punch? Face Punch Studios? It's kind of a weird looking website. Gary's mom? Is that it? Oh, Gary Newman. No, I'm not British. I also don't work in video games. Man, do I even have anything like game dev related on here? Not really. It's all kind of standard like web data processing stuff. It's the kind of work I do too. Looks like it's working fine now. Does it mean the compiles take longer with backtrace turned on? I don't know. Anyway, that works now. So I implemented term query. And alright. Let's have a look at Bloodhound again. Data query. Hey Alexi, could you imagine all of this in Rust? It would be so many lines of code. That would be stupid. Yeah. Well, you know, it's gonna get easier as I go, right? Because I'm gonna get used to doing this stuff, and it'll get faster and easier as I go. Just like I did with Bloodhound. Like the first implementation of a couple basic queries in Bloodhound took me a while. I think it took me a similar amount of time as Rust did just now. But I don't think I'm going to be able to really clean things up or abstract things out as nicely in Rust as I did in Haskell. And there will always be stuff that's harder, like the way traits behave and trait bounds behave. So weird. Like, I have to give it so much more help than type classes in Haskell, and I really don't know why. It's weird. Yeah, yeah, it definitely gets hairier faster in Rust when you have more types flying around. So far, I've done match all query and term query. I don't know. Is there anything in here that you think might be worth demonstrating next?
So you did just term query, right? Terms query.
I did term query. I haven't done terms query. I actually,
It's somewhat similar.
yeah, terms query is probably going to be similar. So the reason I hadn't done that yet is because I don't think Rust has a generic non-empty type. But let's check. Because if there isn't a generic non-empty, then I have to make my own non-empty type in the library, and that's kind of annoying. Length marker for range known to be non-empty. Don't they have like size type parameters or something? Or length type parameters in Rust? Right? I saw it earlier when I was bouncing around. I saw like a type that was, like U820 or something like that, right? I don't care if it's a vector or an array. I just need a collection. I just don't know, because if I can lift, no, but I don't want a specific size. I just want a size greater than 0. Dang it. Where does this get used? What even is this? What's indexing? Sound unchecked indexing in Rust using generativity. Generativity means existential. This is an experiment. No kidding. So it's generating some for-all type for each instantiation. So unless you reference the same thing equal to itself, it's not gonna. Okay, so if I ignore that craziness, the way to do this, like Haskell, would be to make a type like. Let me see if I can find the right place to put this. So it would be like pub struct non-empty val v rest vec v, like that, right? So that's how I would do a non-empty, because then even if this vec is empty, you're always guaranteed at least one value. It actually compiles too, so neat. Derive debug. Cool. So that's how I can do non-empty. Oh, face punch. Rust, the game. That's why they asked. This is Rust programming language, not Rust the game. Right. Jesus. That took me a while. I'm not a clever guy. Well, Twitch is like a mostly video game streaming thing, so if I'm writing Rust code, I should assume somebody who cares about... Yeah, Because it says Haskell and Rust programming in the title of my stream. So they might have thought I was hacking on the game. Or writing a mod or something. Yeah. Wow. Christ. Alright. I'm getting old. I am getting old. Alright. Serd rename equals terms query. Yes. You. There. You. Why is it a filter? Why would you complicate your example? Jackass. Alright. Terms. User. Array of terms. So I have to do it the same way as the other one. And the reason I have to do it the same way as the other one is because they're using the field value as a key and not a value. Is there... Come on, there has to be like a different representation, because I can derive all this stuff if I could do field equals user instead. Oh, man. Oh, let me think about this. Okay, first let's just try doing this in Cerebro. So we want alright, terms query send. Yeah, okay. So user hold on. I can search message for industrial and revolution. Industrial revolution. What? What? Oh, when it gets analyzed, is it lowercase? Was that it? Wow. That was it. Okay, term analysis lowers everything. Note to self. I don't remember this stuff, for what it's worth. I can't really remember anything. Alright, I'm gonna comment this out for the moment. I'm gonna dump that as a working example, and then I'm gonna see if I can I do like value field. Is that a thing? Nope. Yeah, that representation is really unfortunate. Alternate. Terms. This is old documentation. Tags. That's field equals value again. Common body query. Query field? What? Query. Must term field value. Damn it. Oh, man. I may need to abstract out constructing a map of this. Term and term queries are not analyzed. Not analyzed. What? I'm pretty certain it's analyzing them. Terms field value. Dustin asked, what do you use to record on Linux? Open Broadcasting Studio. OBS. No, not Obsidian Systems. OBS. These people. Alright. Term, field, value. Wow, they really love that. This is the .NET library. I think I'm stuck with this. Search terms query field key. Yeah, the problem essentially is that I don't have a way to tell Serd to use the contents of something inside term query to make the field name. It has to be a static name, as far as I know. Alexi asked, what about that other library? How do they do this? So part of the reason I abandoned that other library is because they don't do any of this stuff. They expect you to construct the JSON yourself, just like every other Elasticsearch client in the universe. None of them do this for you. Yeah, see what I mean? And it's like, this is the sucky part. Why bother? I don't need help standing up an HTTP request. I want reliable JSON serialization. I don't know why people write clients like that. Wait, no, I do know why, because it's easier. Alright, Serd, derive, serialize options. I just want to see like every deriving option to see if there's a way to avoid this awfulness. Because if I can avoid having to do this, that would be sweet. What are you on about? Skip serializing field if. If I search for this, I should be able to find all the options. Serialization with visitor. Default. More flexible JSON serialization, Serd code gen. Maybe that's the thing I want. Serd 090, last updated 7 months ago. I don't think that's the real thing. Serd derive, I think, is the real thing. Yeah, it is. Okay. Go to the repository in the docs. Skip serializing if. Yeah, derive internals. Adder. Skip serializing. Other? The fuck is other? I have a very strange and stupid question. Forma says, since you seem to respect a kind of grammar, why not use some kind of parser? I am not parsing. I am serializing. I am generating JSON from an AST data type. I'm doing a little bit of parsing, but the correct thing to do here is to use Serd. not to use a peg grammar, which I don't think can actually parse JSON, or a LAR parser or anything else like that. I don't want to write a JSON parser from scratch. I already have a JSON parser. The JSON parser and the serialization logic is all in terms of shared JSON. So I'm going to use the existing correct known good JSON parser and serializer. Alright. Name, renamed, rename all, skip. So safe to say those are the only ones. Rename and skip. Probably. Should skip. The problem is all this code runs at compile time, so and it doesn't have code gen sophisticated enough that you can point it to pulling the rename from a field. But let's search that and double check. Rust rename value from the field. It's going to be some serious like metaprogramming jiggery pokery stringly code if I do this. Field attributes. Serialize extra constant fields. Deny unknown fields. Oh, this is nice. This is all of them right here. Alright, rename. Rename all. Deny unknown fields. Tag. Tag, untagged. Oh, that's interesting. Bound, default, remote. What's remote? Oh, orphans. Okay. That's variant. Rename, default, skip. With. Serialize with using a function that is different. Generic over T. So that would be if I wanted to punt the delegation. That doesn't actually solve my problem. Getter. That's interesting. Getter, huh? Getter. Getter? Getter. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Awk Forma said, okay, when I saw your HS file, it kind of looked like some kind of expected structure. No, it's not a stupid question. I'm just kind of bouncing around here and not really explaining what's going on. So, this Haskell file, this is a it's not like 100% complete, doesn't implement everything, but this is basically a complete and mature Elasticsearch client. You can go use this right now. It's called Bloodhound. Don't go to the package. Go here. So byteamp/bloodhound on GitHub. This, you can use this right now. This is done. People use this in production right now. What I am doing is I am re-implementing this Haskell library, this guy, in Rust as a way of learning Rust, because I find that I learn new languages faster if I work on a problem I'm familiar with, so that I'm not learning both a new problem and domain and a programming language at the same time. I try to do one of those things at a time. So I happen to know Elasticsearch pretty well. I've maintained a client for it for like 3 or 4 years. I've used Elasticsearch for more like 6, almost 7 years. Yeah, like 6 years. So I'm just re-implementing the same thing that I did in Haskell in Rust. I'm not really trying to make it any different, really. I am trying to abide by what's idiomatic in Rust, though, which is another reason I'm using Serd. Serd's how all the Rusty people do this. And I'm going to try not to assume I know better than them if if that's what they do. Like, I don't know Rust that well, so I'm just trying to follow what they do. I'll deviate more later if I need to, once I know more. Serialize extra context fields. I mean, getters sound promising, but I don't think that's it. I think it's just a way of acquiring a value of the same type when the field is private. Yeah, because you see there's no pub there. That's all it's for. Yeah, so borrow data field from the deserializer by using zero copy deserialization. Wow, that's hardcore. It's also pretty cool. Implicitly borrowed, must be borrowed explicitly. Okay. Yeah. Neat. 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 It's all very neat, but I don't think any of it lets me avoid evilness. I think I still have to write this by hand. This really sucks. I should report this on their GitHub. See what they say. Because if I could avoid... Oh my god. Alright, dog's gonna freak out now. Hey, no. This does mean I have to go now, though. But we made progress, which is good. So, what I will probably do next... Wow. Sorry. Come on. Hey, come here. Hey, Papu, come here. Hey, come here. Here, I'll show you Papu. I usually show you guys Jack. See, he's... Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all go. I know. Calm down. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for hanging out with me again. I'm just gonna go report and talk about this issue on the Sared, probably Sared JSON, but maybe Sared GitHub repo, and see if they have any tips on how to handle this ugly pattern in Elasticsearch's kind of field value JSON representation. So, y'all have a good one. As always, I'm on Twitter. You know where to find me. And I'll catch everyone later. And thank you, Alexi, for joining me today. It's great having you. See y'all later.